If I get into something, I really hyper focus on it. I didn't want to pay so many bills on my car, so I bought a bunch of car tools. Didn't know much about cars. With a few YouTube videos, next thing you know, I was fixing all the stuff on my car.
Thank you for being a pal.
What you got there, Cam?
Oh, hey, Cole. I didn't see you there. I was just reading, the chop up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You read.
Yeah, just a very informative piece of literature I've got in my hand.
It's so weird that you said that because I also was reading the chop up.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Aren't we just best pals doing the same thing?
But did you finish the crossword on the back?
No, I just got this thing.
Fucking loser.
I'm already recording, so we could have done that bit. So, what's up, pals? Welcome back to an episode of Pentool Pals. We're jumping right in this. This is a friendly graphic design podcast with two graphic designers. My name is Canvas Cam with Canvas Design Company.
And I'm Cole from Cole F Design. Thanks so much for joining us on another day at the Pentool Pals office at my room, Cam's room, virtual rooms,
living room, but basically my room because I'm sitting right here in this spot all day, every day.
Today, me and Cam are super pumped because we got a bunch of swag from Lincoln from our last episode.
Dude, they gave us the fanciest pencils I've ever seen.
I feel like if I do bad art with those pencils, like I might as well just
quit.
Huge
shout out to Lincoln Design Company, Dan.
Super fun episode last time,
dude. They hooked it up, bro. Look at this.
Yeah.
Like,
so clean too. Like,
I already used this kind of sketch paper anyway with like the gridded dots, and so now I just want to throw away my other sketchbook so I can start using this right away. But we're just jumping right into this, man. Like, how's your week been?
It's good. This week has been crazy. I did not plan well enough for my trip last week.
Yeah.
So I kind of was out of office, and then it's always hard, like coming back from vacation and then mixing your relaxation period and then all of a sudden just jumping straight into like all the work you need to get caught back up on.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of guy that's like, if it's in front of my desk, like if it's on my plate, until it's off, I'm like riddled with anxiety and like I need to do it. So like, even though I might have not had like enough work to do this, like Tuesday I stayed up till like, or not stayed up, but I stayed at my desk till like 9 doing my work. And then the next day, like I didn't have that much work, I didn't
feel
do that. You know what I mean? I could have just like went back and like finished at 5, but I chose to keep going. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I do that all the time, man. Like I did that last night. I worked until about 11:30, just so I wouldn't have as much to do this morning, so I could actually like wake up, get coffee, run an errand. But yeah, I'll plan ahead like that all the time.
Yeah.
Because a few hours of sleep, or I should say, you go to bed a few hours later than you usually would, or, you stop working a few hours later than you normally would at the expense of, giving yourself an hour or two in the morning to kind of like stretch your legs and not stress. So I totally get it, man. So,
yeah. So how's your week going, Cam?
It's going good, man. So far, I've been getting a lot of work, almost too much work, but I'm at a place right now where I've learned to properly organize each job so that, I can work on one for a little bit and then move on to the next one and actually execute them properly without stress. I mean, I'm still stressing, but I think it's just I've learned how to kind of organize better. It's not perfect, but it's better for me. But I've gotten just hit up so many times this last 2 weeks to a week. And I have a full workload again, and I'm stoked on it. I need the money. This is enough work, I think, to where I'd be able to put away some money for once. So that's always a good thing. But yeah, no, dude, I'm really stoked on how much work I'm getting. A lot of fun projects, none that I'm actually like, I don't really want to do that. So, peep the Boss Dog hat just came in the mail, fresh, stoked. I'm also rocking the Mighty Short Let That Shit Go shirt.
It's pretty sick.
I think it would be a fun thing to highlight what we're wearing if we're wearing some of our previous guests and or other designers that we like, you know. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm wearing Mighty Short and Boss Dog.
Yeah, I got
Boss Dog hat on bossdogart.com.
You sound like one of those commercials where like they say like the prescription and at the end of it it's like, nah, whatever. I'm not even gonna attempt that.
I'm just practicing for when our sponsors start flooding in, and it's like, hey, we can do the press, we can do the media stuff. So
no, I actually have a couple of our artists that we've had on gear coming through the mail. Lincoln that I purchased stuff just came in. I just got the logo Mayhem book, which is going to change my life. DJ Javier, who we had on, he just dropped a couple new merch products, so I'm stoked to see that.
Oh yeah,
which I will be wearing at the next couple episodes.
Yes, I didn't purposely start wearing people's stuff on here, but then I got a few messages going, "Hey man, thank you for wearing my shirt on the podcast." I was like, "Oh dude, no problem." And so it was just one of those things where it just organically started to happen, and I buy this stuff. Hey, people, besides the Lincoln stuff, I actually do buy this stuff. So don't think that people are just sending me shit. If you'd like to send me stuff, that's cool. But I like to buy stuff.
What's better than artists supporting artists? I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's about, and that's what we're about. So we will be buying more products.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but who do we got on today, Cam?
We have a great vintage logo designer named Dorian Avila. He's on the podcast today. Ironically enough, he lives in the same town as me. We've just never met. Different circles. I mean, like we've said a million times, design is a lonely thing. And so for us to get out and try to go meet other designers is a few and far between thing. So hopefully this will kind of, pull down the bridge a little bit, and, we'll have a good time on this podcast, talk about good things, and maybe I'll actually meet Dorian because he seems like a chill guy.
Definitely. Well, I'm super stoked to chat with him, so let's get him into the chat.
Yeah. Dang. What's up, dude?
What's up, guys?
I knew you were going to be coming in hot with that freaking HD camera and your fucking background.
I wasn't sure if it was going to work because I've never used Zoom.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, I have these cameras, so what's up?
Oh, dude, it fucking works. What's up, man? We're recording right now.
Are we? Okay, cool.
Yeah, but what's going on, man? How you doing?
Busy with work. It's a great thing for designers always.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's been so busy that it's like my sleeping schedule's actually been like a little crazy, but
aren't we all? Yeah.
Yeah.
My sleeping schedule's all over the place lately.
Totally. I mean, burning the midnight oil. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna nip this in the butt. We live in the same town and we have never met each other. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is. And there's not a lot of like notable designers in Bakersfield. I mean, we're not that far from LA, but Bakersfield might as well be population 1,000 with.
Yeah, no shit. And I'm just so surprised that we haven't like ran into each other, like getting coffee or like going different places. Like I'm sure we go to both Dagny's and or Smitten or some shit like that. But
I actually don't go to any of those places.
Oh, then never mind.
You know what it is? When I started as a designer, I would do a lot of local projects.
Okay.
And the second my Instagram kicked off a little bit, I'm just doing international out of state stuff. So
yeah,
because I was trying to compete with like Bakersfield, Kern County stuff. I was like, oh man, the world's way bigger than just California, dude.
Yeah, I had that realization when I started traveling for my old day job. I was going around at these different trade shows. Like I used to work for a supplement company and doing their advertising design. And when I started meeting people, and they were getting my contact, I was like, I don't have to work for people in Bakersfield. And that's when I started kind of having that broader sense of, getting clients out of state and out of the country and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
but that's good, man.
absolutely.
You did kind of blow up there. And if you didn't know, this is Dorian Avila. He is a vintage logo designer and is very, very talented. Yeah, I remember seeing your Instagram in infancy stages. I didn't know you, and I didn't know that you even lived in my town. But then we talk about getting these like or we talk about getting these bites on Instagram by these like logo pages and stuff, and you just fucking skyrocketed, man.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of when people ask how to grow your, at least Instagram.
Yeah.
So my other social media channels, I'm mainly on Instagram. You have to do a lot of things that get taken for granted.
Yeah.
Like posting in the beginning a lot. Like I'm talking like 4 times a day, using the right hashtags, making sure you're giving value to the audience. And for me, I think I really hit a niche, not just in the style, but making videos.
Yeah.
The process. So I mean, the second I did that in the beginning, I think I was going like 1,000 followers a week.
That's great.
From like 1,000 to 10,000. And I was like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, it was I used to watch a lot of Gary Vee, The Future. I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
Oh yeah, Christelle.
Yeah, and it was just simple things. I remember there's a video with Gary Vee where this guy came up to him, like, how to grow my Instagram, and he just asked him, well, how many times are you posting a day? It's like once. It's like minimum 4.
Yeah,
like,
when we were talking to
yeah,
logo inspirations, they were saying at the very beginning of their process, they would post like once an hour, and they've gotten to 1 million followers. And that was at the time that Instagram favored mass posting, because I feel like it's continually evolving. And like right now, I think that they're definitely favoring reels or video content.
Absolutely.
And so it's like there's one point where I was able, like I grew 1,000 a week, like you did, but it only lasted like
a few
weeks. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
and then it was gone.
Yeah. I think I hit a plateau around 30K. After that, I'm like getting just a few followers. So I'm not sure if it's an algorithm thing, if it's I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure what it is.
It's probably
it's
an
just
algorithm.
A little slower.
Well, cool, man. I'm super stoked to have you on the pod, and thank you for coming on such late notice.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're getting better at doing this whole podcast thing.
No, we're not.
I know we're not.
Like, I'll lie to that, man.
I know, right?
That's so
but
good.
yeah, man. Stoked to have you on. Stoked to kind of talk about where you started and how you found your style and all that stuff and all that.
Yeah. I started in about 2013, kind of like an amateur. I was a part of a church, and they needed a designer, and I've always been drawing all my life, so I just volunteered, and it kind of just went up from there. And then I got full-time hired at a big church here in Bakersfield, Discovery. And then from there, I was doing part-time as a videographer, photographer, graphic designer. Then I stumbled into The Future, the channel.
Yeah.
And I realized, wait, you can charge like 5 times more for a logo than all this stuff combined. Yeah. So it was just a no-brainer. I think I made a post a few weeks ago where that my rock bottom was, well, you know how hot Bakersfield gets.
Yeah.
Like 110 plus sometimes. And I was recording for a company. They were doing roofs. So I'm climbing up a ladder with all this camera gear in 110-degree weather. And it was kind of the last straw. I was like, I can't. This might as well be like construction work.
For sure.
So kind of talked to my wife about that. I thought, why don't we just bet on ourselves, right? Just do this full time. And at first we were like, no, we need to save up more. And then we looked at each other again. It's like, just let's do it.
Yeah.
And we haven't really turned back, because I got to use all that time from a full-time job into my personal business. And I made sure every minute counted. So it wasn't just, if I didn't work, I wasn't going to eat.
Yeah.
So, and then I started doing different styles, and I stumbled upon Stephen Noble. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Mm-hmm. And Peter Voth.
Peter Voth is great.
Yeah. So I mean, their style is just so timeless. And I
Yeah.
thought I was also wasting a lot of time every year. Like, what new styles are coming in 2022 and 2021? And with vintage, it could be 100 years from now. It's still a thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I really fell in love with it. And it has a little bit more of a hand drawn kind of aesthetic to it
Mhm.
versus minimalist logos, which I just they weren't doing it for me. It just wasn't my thing. So that's really how I started picking my style and really just really centering on something that I both loved and something that I knew not everybody else could easily do.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, your artwork is so meticulous. Like you have the tiniest of details, and I wish I knew the correct term. I'm going to butcher this, and it's already escaping me. But cross hatching, that's the word.
Cross hatching. Yeah.
Is that the correct term for the
Yes.
how?
Yeah, it has several
thought it as
names.
well.
Yeah, I to this day it has cross hatching,
Yeah.
etching, scratch board,
Mhm.
what's the other engraving. So when I'm looking for like inspiration or other artists that do kind of what I do, it's hard finding the right word for that.
Yeah.
But it's vintage slash all that other stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
When I think of your art, I think of you being able to like forge the dollar bill. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh.
that'd be Stephen Noble.
Yeah,
That guy's
no,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think he does traditional hand drawn stuff
Yeah.
for his first draft. So I mean, this guy's a legend. I have the mind where I can pick up stuff within a few days. I could probably start like wood carving in like 2 weeks if I just watch
Crazy.
enough videos.
I'm very much not like that.
It's weird because I get like I don't consider myself smart. I kind of daydream a lot. I drift off.
Mhm.
But if I get into something, I really hyper focus on it. So like for example, I didn't want to pay so many bills on my car, so I bought a bunch of car tools. And didn't know much about cars, but with a few YouTube videos, next thing you know, I was fixing all the stuff on my car.
Damn.
It's a great thing about living in 2021. I mean, 2022 is like in YouTube, you want to be a baker, you want to be a photographer, you can just sit down, do the time, and you'll pick it up.
100%. I mean, that's half of what I've learned in design has just been like the stuff I didn't learn in college. I just Googled and YouTubed like, whatever thing I needed to learn, and bam, there it was. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's really no excuse because you see a lot of people that have a lot of negative comments, not towards you, but towards themselves, where, well, I don't have those tools.
yeah.
Well, I don't have the schooling for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't live in a big city.
There's
It's
no
like
excuse.
the world is so small now. So these are some of the latest projects I've been working on. This was for a brewery out of St. Louis. This was a cool story because the illustration of the little guy, that's so demeaning. The illustration of the person here. I guess the owner of the company, that was his best friend, passed away from cancer, and
Oh man.
he had the idea of starting these kind of vintage beers by putting the beer into like these whiskey barrels and just mixing with other flavors. So he wanted to do a limited run. So his friend got the chance to kind of make the barrels.
Okay.
But he passed away before they got to open them up and actually use them. So he kind of wanted to honor him with that. And I guess his son, who's like 20 something, works there now.
Dude, what an amazing mark and monogram and the floral like patterns in the background. What is what is this piece? And then this is like probably 8 pieces in once. You got your monogram, you got your full mark, you got your illustration, the pattern. Yeah. What is something? How long does something like this take you?
Oh man, jeez. You know how designers are. We never time ourselves.
Yeah.
Even me looking at this, if somebody was to tell me, "Hey, can you make this?" I'd be like, "Where do I even start?" Right? But
yeah,
something
totally.
about
that's my first thought.
Yeah, but it is. I have a process. I'll start with an illustration first.
Okay.
If I don't get the illustration where the customer approves that, then I don't move forward from that.
Yeah.
And I start with the badge, the verbiage, the words, then the patterns. So I kind of start layering things. and they wanted different flavors. That's what that is right there.
Cool.
It's just some. I put the badge on the photos there.
It looks so good.
Yeah,
Especially
and then
when you're able to combine like good photography. So are these mock-ups or are these
mock-ups. These are
that you
mock-ups.
created?
Yeah, I get a lot of stuff from I think it's a Creative Market.
Yeah, I do too. Creative Market's great for
Yeah, it's
assets,
awesome.
man.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
this just makes it bring to life. You know, it just looks so clean.
Yeah, they were really happy with this. They wanted actually the bottles, the top. I think they wanted to dip them into wax in the final design, but I couldn't find mock-ups for that.
Okay.
That was very specific. I also think a few months ago, Christo was doing. I can't remember what company he was doing an interview, a podcast with, and he had this deal for like I think it was like $70 for a bunch of mock-ups, and they were usually like $2,000.
Jeez.
So I tripped over getting a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
stop,
yeah.
let's stop on this on this section right here. Yep, right there.
Yeah,
So, like,
that's
these are more or less like your final deliverables for them, without packaging, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So when they come to you and they go, like, I need a logo, are you kind of steering them into a direction like, hey, we should do like an illustration of this, and then we do a badge and a type and this?
Yeah.
How does that
Well,
process work for you?
Yeah. Well, I'm at a point where if I make sure they know my work,
okay.
that if it doesn't look like my work, I'm not the best option for them. In the beginning, I was taking everything, obviously.
Yeah.
But I it kind of clicked. Like I gotta start making work. People like make the work I want to work on, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it went from this is starting to feel more like work, and all the spirit, the whole reason I got into this, which was 50%, to eat, 50% fulfill that artist need to that scratch to design things. So I make sure they know my work. That's one. Two, I really do push for an illustration. I think it just makes everything. It's easier for me. It's my process where I have the illustration and I kind of just marry it with a badge or ornate little figures. But the star, I try to make the star the illustration of things. So that's actually his friend's a photo of his buddy.
Okay.
On the illustration there, and then from there, I finish it off with the badges or the rest of the logo options.
Yeah.
No, I admire that you're telling people that you might not be the best option unless it's something that you feel is up your alley or your
totally.
Yeah.
Like we had another guest, John Bannon, who said something similar where they basically just need to trust him with a badge set of like however many they wanted. If they come to him, they're coming for a John Bannon design. And what that means is that he'll offer 6 or however many badges that they wanted under a certain price, but basically no revisions after the fact. And,
okay.
If they want to use him, then they're coming for his stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I admire that. I think it's to get to a point in design that you're able to do that is fantastic.
Yeah, because sometimes you just get too caught up in trying to blend someone else's style into your own, and it just becomes this big convoluted mess of nastiness. And for me personally, I hate putting out work that I'm not proud of. And I got to that point in my career to where I was basically like kind of what you were saying, Dorian, is like, I want you to look at my work. It's hard for me to produce something outside of this because this is what I love to do. And this is, the style that I go, but at the same time, I'm still very well versed in a lot of different styles. It's just, there's a few different style elements that, you can really look at something and see that, oh, that's, canvas, that's canvas cam and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I try to tell people like, hey, I'm not a realism guy. I'm not one of those designers, and all that stuff. But that's good, man. I admire that as well, as Paul was saying, like your willingness to say like, hey, maybe I'm not the right fit for you, because it's hard turning away money sometimes, man.
Yeah, I think the way I convinced myself to combat that idea where I'm turning away money, right?
Yeah,
I thought, well, that time you could have used for making that project, you can use it to create other media related to the type of clients you're trying to attract.
of course.
So it's not really wasted money, because in the long run, you're going to end up making that money up twice, I say,
Yeah.
if you're
Absolutely.
really good at something.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that
very
you're
good.
building up a brand likeness that you can charge more for anyways. So like you might be saying no to smaller projects, but you're also being rewarded in higher paying clients and larger
Yeah.
projects, right?
Yeah, and again, I watch a lot of The Future, and that's kind of the things that kind of really train you on,
Yeah,
where picking a niche and really specializing in something so you can charge more for
yeah,
that specific thing. So while I can't do or provide other services, I'm good at this
yeah,
or decent at it. I mean, I still have that whole imposter syndrome because I didn't go to 8 years to college for this or anything, but I love what I do.
yeah.
Totally.
Well, looking at your stuff, you wouldn't have known that you didn't go to college. Like, your work is amazing enough to where you could think that like you went to a 4-year college and all that stuff in
Thanks, man.
design. Like, it's like, I look at some of your stuff, and I can pretty much break down how you do things, but I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, there's no way. You
No
have
way.
so much detail and such a precise way of doing things, where it's like I look at your stuff and I know exactly it's you. I'll be scrolling through Instagram and I'm like, boom, that's Dorian for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Well, I put the hours sitting down. I didn't put the school hours, but I put the real life hours. And then,
Oh, for
That's
sure.
way more important, you know?
Yeah.
You don't need to be properly school educated or university educated. Like, I think that the real learning lessons like come from real world experience.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
man.
Yeah, this is just the finalizing of the project.
There's that wax seal. You got
That's
a little bit.
Yeah, they really wanted that on the bottle. I'm hoping they haven't made them yet, but I'm really hoping to get a copy of those because
Yeah,
I want to see how they come out.
for sure. I love getting my hands on stuff that I've designed.
Yeah. Let me see what else I got here. Put some up. This is loading. This was for a Spanish company. So the wife was Chinese, the husband was from Spain, and they wanted to go into giving. I guess in China, it's common to give out like presents or gifts during holidays with food in them, like tuna and olives. That was kind of new to me. So that's kind of what the company was about. And then they wanted, so the word here, sibarita, means kind of like high class, or what's that other word, like dapper.
Okay.
So they wanted a gentleman, basically, just some guy
right
with a top
up your
hat.
alley.
Yeah. So that was that, and they just presented a mock-up with their
Very nice.
like a little menu they had.
Very cool.
These mock-ups are so good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually just really jealous of how well you're able to propose your work after the fact.
Right. Is this part of that mock-up kit that you were talking about through the future?
This one, no. This one I
Okay.
actually made myself. Now
No,
I
yeah. Like, you took pictures of it and stuff?
no, not that kind of made myself.
Yeah.
For example, the image in the back is from unsplash.com.
Oh,
If you read
gotcha.
that. I did draw in the shadows, and then I put the
way.
card and then just drew shadows. I actually drew the
Shadows on
shadows
top.
under.
I can totally see it, dude. That's crazy good. I wouldn't even have known.
Good.
Yeah, I'm glad because I'm using so many mock-ups. I'm learning stuff.
Yeah.
That's a talent in itself.
This was part of that package I was telling you about. No,
Okay.
actually, no, I'm lying. I just remembered. This I
Okay.
got from the creative market.
Okay, gotcha.
It was a set. That's the way it matches up. So I actually didn't end up moving stuff. So I took some stuff out and just
Oh, okay.
changed the colors.
Photoshop master.
Seriously, that is an amazing talent in itself. I do not have that talent.
Oh man, it's appreciated, but I think it's just too much time on Photoshop.
Yeah, You know, I
So
can get down in Photoshop, but I can't do this realism, you know, shadowing and stuff like that. You've got me.
yeah, I noticed, guys, that if you just slap on some window shadows on something, it automatically just looks like it came out of a magazine for no
Yeah.
reason whatsoever.
For sure.
You heard it
Now
here
with this
first.
one, yeah, I feel bad. We're not even talking about the actual illustrations, but now with this shadow, did you throw that image in there and throw a Gaussian blur on there?
This one, I think I have a foliage package that is shadow, so that I just had to
Very
overlay.
cool.
And then I try to add like these subtle textures on the papers that you kind of subconsciously pick up, not really.
Okay.
And it just kind of just makes it look like it has more depth than it actually does.
Nice.
This one I wasn't too great about it because this one I did put together myself.
Okay.
It seems a little messy.
Your thought of messy is still like, wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So, I mean, yeah, and like Cam said, we're not even talking about the illustration. Like, it's
know.
first off, what's happening here is you've packaged your entire design to live in a space that it's not just your artwork anymore, right?
Yeah.
You created like a brand and a likeness to what you've created, which is so important.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate
definitely.
that. I think
Presentation is so important too. That's something that most designers don't understand. And it's like, even myself, like, I don't package everything up like this. And I could imagine I'm missing out on a lot more, you know, business opportunity and money just because I don't take the time to do this. So
yeah.
like the fact that you take the time and you love this enough to put together these like elaborate mock-up illustrations, just amazing to me. Another
Yeah.
person that does it, and I know you've worked with her before, is Shannon Labar from
Yeah.
Purveyor.
Yeah.
I've known her for a really long time, and she does this, and it just amazes me that, you know, the just the care that you have for your creations enough to put it up to present it this way is just great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I got that from, oh man, there was another logo designer I really love on YouTube. Will Patterson, is it?
Will Patterson, yeah.
Yeah, I think he started talking a few years ago when I started into this about how important mock-ups were. And it really hit home when I thought about like the Nike logo. I thought about like that logo, the Nike logo, and probably when they revisioned it, what it must have cost, but or like the Apple logo. And without mock-ups, that thing's like that's worth $1, you know?
Yeah.
It's you wouldn't consider charging at all for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, mock-ups really bring it home for me.
Yeah, I definitely think, and it gives it worth because it puts it into a place or a setting that feels worthy.
Yeah.
Totally. That image above is just locked up so well, and that border, that like,
This one?
yeah, that like just how it's locked up is just so great to me.
Yeah,
Love that.
it just marries the whole presentation really well with this.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's the little things that you can't even tell. Like, for example, it's not just matching the background here to the
Mhm.
card. I also go out of my way to put like blue shadows on the bread and the border. They're really subtle. Really, really subtle.
Yep.
But if I
My-
didn't put that, it would look out of place.
So
Yeah. A piece of advice, people.
Yeah.
My first boss, my first design boss told me ATD, attention to detail. And Dorian has all the attention to all of the detail, just
So-
based off all of this shit. Like, look at this. This is
I
that
tried.
I would not have thought to take colors from the bread and putting it into the shading and shadowing of this. Like, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I put like even like a little layer of a blue overlay, and then cool down the image just because the original was really warm.
Nice.
Stuff like that, and that was kind of the whole.
yeah, your designs just look like it's worth $1 million.
Mhm.
That's the plan one day.
You- I hope that's already what you're charging.
Yeah.
I'd be on Joe Rogan if I was doing that.
Yeah. You sure would be.
No.
So good.
That's kind of the plan, paying attention to detail to those things. And sorry. I did notice that when I was showing when a customer would ask for some what do you call them? The word is escaping me here. Some not your portfolio, but study cases and stuff.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
When I presented this, it went from kind of like wobbly to, oh, this is the right person, right?
Yeah.
And there's a thin line between that and a customer that comes in and says, kind of prove to me that you're the right designer. And I never take that stance, because that's going to be a horrific relationship where they know it's like, I'm providing a service. I don't work for you. You know, so it's not like that.
Yeah. Oh, that, and when you have stuff to show like on hand, you know, without having to, you know, explain yourself in a sense, or it's like, I'm not trying to convince you after you came to me that you want to work with me. Like, you
Yeah.
me for a reason. So I've noticed just having
Beautiful
stuff
thing.
on hand just to show. Cole, he's definitely one of the people that made me realize like I need to have, you know, documents set up to where it's like pricing sheets and doing all that stuff. When you have stuff on hand, it's more like, you know, hey, here's what I'm capable of doing. Feel it out and see if you want to work with me.
Yeah. And I think the customers know that when you're ready to give that this isn't your first barbecue.
Yeah, totally.
Even if they themselves don't realize that, it's subconsciously, all right, this person is already ready to go.
Yep.
So this is what he does for a living. So it kind of assures them that they're with a professional, not just somebody that's hasn't charged a day in his life. So that really does help having all that stuff ready.
Yeah, I think there's a confidence to it too. Like in the beginning, you're like almost over speaking because you're trying to like compensate for a lack of knowledge versus like the confidence of just like knowing this process so well that it's like, listen, like if you don't want to work together, like that's fine, but here's my price. Here's my, you know, you've seen my work, so these are like options that you now have to either move forward or not. And the ones that don't make that decision directly or right away are definitely a red flag.
Yeah, totally. But also having stuff like this to show, it can also sell people enough to where it's like, all right, we do want to work with you.
And upsell too.
And upsell too.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of motivates them to, you know, like, hey, you know, we definitely want to work with you. We love all of this. You're the right pick for us. But at the same time, like they can go, we don't have quite the funds yet. Let's reconvene in a month to where we do have the funds for that. And that's happened to me plenty of times where it's just, you know, it's just a waiting game.
Yeah.
You sold
I
yourself.
love that. I think that was one of those chapters in my life, in my career, where that was one of the most beautiful things a designer ever wants to hear. Like, hey, I can't afford you right now, but give me a few months.
Yep.
And they actually come back.
Yeah.
For them wanting to work with you that much.
It's the best feeling in the world. It's happened to me 2 or 3 times. And, you know, it was just like, hey, thank you for trusting me enough to where, one, you could have just went to any other designer, you know, someone who's going to charge less, but, you know, you actually came back to me. And yeah, so
that's pretty awesome. And speaking of those early conversations, one little tactic that helped me a lot that Chris Dill had was to give when you're giving a quote, your two values, start out with a ridiculous high one.
Yeah.
And then what you're actually wanting to charge.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I learned that from him as well. And actually a few others are like echo it. And that has helped me in so many cases that it's really great advice for any designer out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you just give them a number, the psychology is weird behind that. Because if you give just a solid number, they compare it versus a number they made up, a number they heard of, or zero. And then when you're giving them 2 numbers, they're comparing high number versus this other number. And it works great. I mean,
it does work great.
It's in the beginning I thought, is that right? Is that moral? But like, hey, I'm not twisting their arms. I mean,
you're not twisting their arm, but at the same time, it's like, it's knowing your worth. And so it's like, if you put, you know, a floor to a ceiling, or however that was phrased in a previous episode, you know, you're putting up a ceiling essentially. And, you know, it's like, as long as it's not below the floor level, you know, I just priced out a job today where I did that same exact thing. And, you know, the pricing that I wanted for the job was the pricing they went for, but I pitched for a higher price and I just built out that bracket. I got the job. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's super important just to kind of, you know, it's not like you're playing a game, you're playing business.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like, if you want to get paid for what you're worth, you have to, go along those guidelines and those games,
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
remember, and this is just kind of a side story. I remember the day I stepped away from my day job, Dorian, I remember you sent me a message basically going like, you know, just do all of this, don't stress out, try not to be stressed and all that stuff. And I've really taken, that to heart, with, this is going full-time freelance is a very scary thing. And, I'm stoked to see that you've, navigated in this way and presented yourself this way. I can definitely see all of that advice you gave to me as, very much reflected into your work.
I appreciate that, man. I try to do that with fellow designers because I don't think I've ever had anybody we could have used at some point.
Yep.
Hey, man, I see what you're doing.
Hmm.
Just want to let you know it's awesome. Or if I've even reached out to designers where their work is shared on a big page,
Yeah,
and the hate they get,
it's
like,
brutal.
it's and I have to message them, like some of my buddies, hey, I just noticed that you're getting, like, don't pay attention to that.
Mhm.
99% of the time, click on that profile, they got like 40 followers and
Mhm.
just horrible designs, but they can't stand seeing somebody else succeed. It just
Yeah.
eats them up. And I don't know who hurt them, but
Yeah.
I
I know.
actually make a point to for the whenever someone gets like reposted and on like a big profile, it's one thing to like the picture on the repost site, but it's another thing to go to the actual artist page, like the photo that they posted that was reposted,
Yeah.
and comment on that and say
Yeah.
like, this is amazing work. Like, glad I stumbled on your page.
Yeah, doing that.
Give them a follow.
Speaking on that, on my early stages, one of the things that to psych myself, to kind of like, in a sense, help myself, but hurt myself at the same time, when I started design is I went to my phone,
Hmm.
I unfollowed everything that didn't have to do with design
Oh, crazy.
on all my platforms, even friends that were just posting things that were you posting too often or weren't encouraging
Yeah.
life in whatever way on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So that way, when I was getting lazy or down, depressed, if I opened up my phone, which I will, like everybody, 100 times a day,
Yeah.
all I saw was design work, design work, design. It was all I was eating in my head,
Yeah.
and I couldn't escape it. So I was just thinking constant logos, illustrations. So I think that's a good tip for when you're starting out, to make sure that you clean out your whole social media,
Yeah.
so that when you're feeling lazy 3 days from there, and
100%.
I don't want to design today, I don't want, and you're trying to basically be lazy for that day, or you open up your phone, and no matter what you open it up to, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, it's all design work. It's all related to what your big goal is.
Yeah.
And that really helped me a lot.
That's good. It's funny because like my Canvas Cam profile is very much just kind of like, both art and my life. And I made the Canvas Design Company profile as, the one that's driving out all the artwork and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I would say in a sense, you could gear your social media to where it's like, if you want to post stuff like personal stuff, like I just posted a picture of me and my girlfriend and my dog in the pool, have a whole, Instagram dedicated to that, but also create one that's just solely focused on art.
Yeah. I would also say, there's definitely like everything in between. And there's obviously two ways to go about it. I created a new account specifically for graphic design, and that's all it is. Like, I don't follow someone that's not doing graphic design. I have only graphic design feed.
Yeah.
That's my cool design page. Then I also have one that I never want anyone to find, that has my personal information
I found it.
that's really just about my life and what I want to like enjoy or what I do. I post with my girlfriend and I hang out and have a good time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then I'm drinking and I'm posting on my story. I don't want my professional things like in that page. And there's a picture. Like, I also see, like, Cam, I think of you not only as a graphic designer, but I think that you are more of like a personality as well. So I think that influences like people's decision in hiring you. And I think that same with you, Dorian, except backwards, is that your professionality speaks through your work and your etiquette, so that you're also having that influence your page or your brand. So it's
I
like
appreciate that.
find that place that is you, own it, and be authentic, because once you own that sort of stance on your brand or your life, then people will come to you because of it.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Yeah, I've gone back and forth lately of how much more of my personal life I should share on my personal profile, because I don't want to ever be personally. I just don't ever want to be a company.
Yeah.
I want to be more of an artist or a designer. Or like I don't want to separate my life from my work.
Yeah.
That's just me, because I feel like if people know you, they can trust you more. Versus if it's a company, you don't know if you're talking to 5 people, 10 people, and that's just kind of the way I look at it.
For sure.
I totally agree with that.
For sure.
I think I've learned that the hard way too, because presenting yourself is so weird and like
difficult. Oh, for sure, dude.
For me.
Well, you made a good point. Like, you know, I'm more like the personality, or how'd you phrase that?
I said not only a designer, but you're a person.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's just the persona that I've kind of always presented. And, you know, it's like I haven't been able to successfully have an Instagram page that I haven't posted artwork on, because I think that's always kind of been a part of my identity as being like graphic designer, but also like, hey, this is me and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's also how it plays into the podcast too. You know, it's like, totally. You know, I'm definitely, you know, the comedic aspect to this thing and all that stuff. Not saying you're not funny, Cole. I'm just saying
I'm not.
Cole.
I'm just not. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can get back to that was a really good tangent.
Yeah.
But I'd love to continue seeing some more of your work. And
let me see what else I got up here. Okay, this was another fun one.
Ooh.
I wasn't 100% satisfied with this, and
different.
Yeah, because there's a fun story with this. It's this from Denmark, I believe, the company. So it's a 200-year-old building. It was a hotel. So I was pretty happy about working on. Wow, I want to work on. There's a castle next to it. So the fun story is the lady sends me a picture. This is the hotel, basically, right? Yeah. That orange one. And the picture has like half the building cut off with trees and cars. And I asked her, is there any way you guys can like take a picture? And the street's really tight, so she couldn't get a picture. So what I had to do was, because they were paying some good. What's that?
Fly out to Denmark.
No. Sketch it out. No, what I actually did was go to Google Maps and zoomed in 3D. But not only that, the street was still blocked. I went over the months and years and collected like 20 photos, went on Photoshop and cut out all the pieces over the months that didn't have either the trees or the cars to make this.
That's crazy.
Unreal.
That was one of the big projects. They paid really well. They didn't even like haggle or ask questions. They literally sent everything. I was like, whoa, great. Like that's. So yeah, this was more mock-up oriented as far as the presenting about the company, not so much the design in these images. So that's she sent me these two.
Nice.
That's part of the logo design here.
Oh,
that's called going the extra mile. You know?
Yeah, very minimalist in a sense.
Now, did you design all the patterns and stuff too?
Sometimes.
Okay, sometimes.
This one I did. The other one for Sibarita, that one I think I got it from. Oh my goodness, I have a lot of subscriptions for a lot of designs.
Gotcha.
Which again, it's another thing that as long as you're doing it legally,
yeah,
and you got the documents to say I paid for this,
yep,
we're all good.
Yeah, it's very important to use bought assets, because if you steal something, you can.
Yeah, like yeah. Speaking of, even as far as music, so the music I put on my Instagram videos and YouTube, I'm paying for Soundstripe.
Okay.
And the last few videos on YouTube have been demonetized, and I have to go fight it and tell them, hey, here's the ID. It literally, the way it works, I don't know if you guys use Soundstripe, it gives you a YouTube ID number.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Generates it, and I put it in the description on the bottom, and it still gets flagged.
That's
So
weird.
I'm going. So yeah. So if I wasn't even paying for that, probably like that would be a problem because
Yeah,
it's really important that you don't want your work being taken down.
for sure.
Let me see. What else I got here? This guy was a guy from Chile. He was starting a coffee company.
Crazy.
He got COVID halfway through the project.
Oh no.
Yeah, and
He's
at
okay
first
though,
it seemed
right?
it seemed sketchy at first because he disappeared. But he had already paid half of the for the project.
Okay.
But he got really sick, and then he contacted me and actually he's still kind of waiting to. I don't know if he doesn't have the funds, but I finished the project though.
Yeah, just hold on to that until he gets back to you.
Yeah.
I love how you present your whole thing, like your whole project. Like I'm taking mental notes on how I can
Same.
fix my portfolio to be as strong as this.
Well, I'm trying, man.
Succeeding.
No, this is definitely inspiring us to kind of step up our presentation game for sure.
Yeah, this was a statue they have in Chile. It's one of like their deities or gods there.
Awesome. Great package.
Yeah, mock-ups, they do a lot, man.
Yeah.
They do.
So if you're taking any mental notes, people, mock up everything, oversell yourself, make more money.
Yeah.
Good eye and
We never really know what we're going to talk about when we go into these episodes. But like, there's always some good takeaways.
and it's like, for example, like something as simple as this. If you're going to present a business card, it looks nice to present it just by itself.
Yeah.
Sometimes the design will speak by itself. But if you can put it into something related to what the company's selling or what they're about, it just sells it a lot.
For sure. Now, did you Photoshop that card into these beans?
This was a mock-up, so
okay.
I inserted it in one of the layers. It kind of did it for me.
Yeah.
But that one did come with the business card like that. I think also creative market.
Yeah. Very creative.
And specific.
Yeah, I'm trying to get one of these other projects. This I did for a friend.
Oh,
I was doing a cannabis thing a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was one of the first mock-ups I did, where I looked at it, I was like, oh man, this looks better than just the logo by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just adding all these little extra things that, it's time consuming.
Yeah.
But it pays off.
Yeah. That's the key takeaway.
Yeah, and for photos, I use a lot of Lightroom as well. So these two photos, for example, were the color palette was way different. But just making sure if the photo's cool and you want the other photos to be cool, make sure it's cool as well.
Yeah.
There's a color in the back that's really bright, like a really bright pink over there, and that's not what you want for this project.
Not at all. Yeah.
Kill that color, and it looks like it was taken by the same photographer.
That's great.
Absolutely.
And just some random packaging there too, some business cards. This, I found some pictures and textures for the back. So there's like a deer or two deer in the back drinking water, and a bunch of stuff's going on in the back, but it just looks like I know the eye's picking it up, but you're not sure what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the little elements, the color palette.
Very cool.
And just the final design.
That deer mark is awesome, dude.
Yeah, especially the small little textures in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually made that on iPad.
Okay.
And then I vectored it on the Illustrator.
Nice.
So yeah.
Super
Very cool, man. I love it.
I don't know if you guys want to keep. I think I got one more.
Okay. Yeah, let's look at that one more.
Oh, this is what I literally turned into the customer yesterday. This was out of my style because this is more quirky, fun, hand-drawn, a little imperfect on purpose. So this was beer flavored. That company I showed you guys earlier. This one, same company. the
Okay.
same company. So this is an ice cream flavored beard with fruit.
Crazy.
So,
Okay.
so this is the sketches
look
I
at
sent
that.
them.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
Seen it
fantastic.
before.
Yeah, they wanted people, adults running towards an ice cream truck that sold beers, but it got really cluttered.
Yeah.
Right.
So they just do the truck.
Yeah, the craziness when a client comes and has 30 ideas and wants it all into one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a label. Kind of the color palette, second logo. And it's just an excuse to put the logo again.
Yeah.
This one I also try to transition the yeah. I try to transition the colors into the next palette.
Hmm.
So I have 3 flavors for this one.
This is just cool how
Yeah.
you can like see your illustration style like come through into this, but it is just slightly different from what you normally do. Like,
Yeah. This was more ridiculous, childish, fun, colorful.
but still so good.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I already had mock-up cans, but this one had that water effect on it. That just that the kind of sweat, it just makes it look just a little more real.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh. I'm just drooling over your mock-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I think this is my favorite stage of the design. Once the customer approves the designs, the logos, illustrations,
Hmm.
just to have at it with the mock-ups. And with the mock-ups, I usually take little to no direction. It's mainly on the logo itself.
Yeah.
They have most of the time no idea what on earth I'm gonna do with the mock-ups.
Do you provide the mock-ups to them?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this isn't just like internal. This is
No, they can have these for their websites, for anything they're gonna use.
That's.
And again, I make
yeah.
sure I use stock photos I paid for, or like free ones like on Splash
Yeah.
that you can use on a website or what have you. This one, the original picture, man, I was showing my wife yesterday. The original picture was bright red with ice cream all over it, and I literally just zoomed in and erased everything and put the cans and changed the color to an orange just so it match.
That's sick.
so good.
Yeah, that's very
So
good.
yeah, there's that. And then I added this weird little handwritten effect on the mock-ups just to
That really brings it, and it has its own brand identity. That's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's just a fun,
throughout your whole branding.
yeah, just a quirky thing.
I could easily see you doing this kind of style more often, like based off of this job. Like, I feel like you'd be able to really master this kind of like style, and just go into that kind of world of beer label design.
Yeah, that's something that, as you guys know, what I've known is that liquor, alcohol companies waste more on their packaging.
Oh yeah.
So because the product itself is not as expensive as other stuff, so
Mhm.
it's something, yeah, that I've tried to make a little bit more of. But yeah, this style, I really hadn't done anything like this before.
Yeah, this is very different than anything I've seen you do.
Yeah, but I just went with like it's kind of messy on purpose. It looks like
Yeah.
it wasn't drawn right, but yet it was at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah, purposeful for sure.
So yeah, that was the
Very
last
cool.
project I had.
Oh yeah. That was awesome, man. Like your range is like crazy.
I try, man. I like you guys said, there's still a little bit of like, for example, that last design where the truck was a little bit like hand drawn, a little vintage, kind of imperfect,
Mhm.
and the rest of it was, I wasn't sure how this was gonna look when I was making it. I think what I do is when I made the label,
Mhm.
it kind of dictated the rest of the style of the mock-ups, the stylescape, the presentation. I try.
That's very good, man.
Yeah, seriously. Well, we're getting to that, that hour point, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like you want to touch on before we start wrapping up?
I didn't have anything in mind, but I guess maybe some advice.
There you
Yeah, that's a perfect thing to end on. Yeah, let's see
go.
that. Yeah.
So advice for young designers: if you have the desire to design it, and if you're 50, 60, 20, don't let that die. Make sure you go for it. Be realistic in what you're to expect in this career. If you're starting out, obviously either you live at home with your parents or you have a full-time job. Don't quit that. Make sure that every day you're designing something, and that if you're not seeing any results, be on social media. I mean, social media is everything for designers in this day and age. If you're not seeing any results, try twice as hard. Don't give up. I think everybody that's made it nobody's ever done a design and then just made $1 million the next day. You don't see the other 20,000 designs they did before that first one they got paid for.
Yeah.
So make sure that you're tenacious. You're really tenacious about and realistic that you're gonna fail more than succeed in the beginning. But it's gonna be up to you how much you keep getting up and design until you get that customer that really opens up the doors for the rest of your clients. And picking a style that you really love. Make sure you design what you love, not what the market dictates, because the market keeps changing.
Yeah.
But your love for a specific style isn't going to change much. I mean, you can evolve, but that's going to help you a lot on picking a lane and dictating the rest of your career. So that's my advice.
Hell yeah, man.
That's awesome. That was such
That's
a
great.
good end note.
Solid advice, man. So tell everybody where they can find you, plug a website, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, on Instagram, it's Dorian double what is the little double lines on the bottom?
Underscore.
Underscore. Designer doesn't know underscore. Yeah, double underscore Avila. Mainly on Instagram. I'm also on Behance, Dorian Avila Design. I have a website I just updated. It's Dorian Avila Design, myportfolio.com. I did it through Behance.
Nice.
Yeah. So YouTube. I'm also on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
I'm probably the only one of 2 Dorian Avilas on YouTube, so you shouldn't have that much hard time finding me. So
your face is right there plastered on the banner. I'm sure
Yeah.
find you easily.
Yeah. It is.
Well, dude, Dorian, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure getting to sit and talk to you. Dorian, thank you for being a pal.
Yes.
Hey, man.
Thank you for being a pal, Dorian.
All right, guys, man. Peace
All right,
out. Thank you.
soon.
Thank you for being a pal.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Thanks for being a pal. And thanks for watching this episode. If you like this episode, there's plenty more. Go ahead and watch them. They should pop up right here if Cam did a good job editing. And if you didn't, they'll probably be here soon. Thanks so much for being a pal and watching our show. We'll see you next week.